Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and we are going to be working on the BMW 130i today with the N52 engine, of course. And we're going to be doing something that I've been meaning to do for quite a while, but I've just never really got round to it. So we are going to be swapping out the spark plugs, and I kind of want to make a point with this video that this is really something that anyone can do. You really do not need any mechanical knowledge to do this job, and hopefully I'm going to be showing you just how easy it is to do yourself from home. This is not a job that you need BMW to do for you. So without further ado, I think we will get outside and let's get cracking. So then, as you can see, we have the N52 engine here, and with this being a 6-cylinder, we have, of course, 6 spark plugs. Now, to access the spark plugs themselves, we need to remove this engine cover. Now, you may think that this is bolted down. You may think these are bolts, but they are not. They are just for show. This thing actually just lifts up. Now, to gain access to the rear of the engine cover, and essentially the rear of the engine, we are going to be needing to remove this cowling here. Now, it's just held in by a bunch of 8mm bolts, so let's get all of those undone and then let's get all of this out of the way. Before we start removing the 8mm bolts, I'm just going to remove the trim pieces. There is one on either side. These are just held in by these little tabs. They just need lifting up and they can come out. Same on the other side as well. There we are. And you're also going to want to disconnect the 2 sensors as well, so one on either side. Just push in and they just remove like so. And you have this one here, which is for the AUC sensor. Just disconnect that and pull it up from its retaining clips. And now let me show you all of the 8mm bolts that you need to remove. So we have one just there. We should also have one on the other side as well. As you can see, this one is missing. And then we should have one there, that is missing. We should have one there, that is missing. And then we should have one there, which we do. And then there, which again, that is missing. You don't need to remove these 2 here at the front. This is just if you want to remove the cabin air filter box only, but because we are removing the whole lot, we just need to remove all of those bolts that I've mentioned. And once you have removed all of those 8mm bolts, this thing should then be pretty loose, but you're going to want to remove these cables here at the front as well. Just get a screwdriver in there and that should pop it out, and then you just need to slide it towards you. And then the same with this one as well. Once you have all of this loose, you can then lift this entire thing up and away from the car. And as you can see, we now have full access to the engine cover, so you just need to pull it up. And carefully slide it towards the front of the car. And just so you can see how it's held in place, as you can see, there is 4 rubber bungs here, and they just sit on these dowels on the rocker cover itself. And now, as you can see, we have access to all 6 of the ignition coils, which of course sit over the spark plugs themselves. So to remove the ignition coils, you just need to pop up this cap here, pull out the electrical connector, and then pull the ignition coil itself out. And there you are. That's the ignition coil removed. And now the next step is not essential, but if you have access to an air compressor, then use it. Because if you take a look down the spark plug tube, you may see some dirt and debris, which chances are it's not going to be harmful. You know, it should just blow straight out of the exhaust. But if you do have the means to remove that dirt, then it's best to do so for sure. Now to remove the spark plugs themselves, you're going to want a deep 16mm socket. Now this is a spark plug socket and it is a magnetic one, so if you can get one of these, it is going to save you a bit of time and it's going to be safer as well. It's going to ensure that you're not going to drop the new spark plug when it comes to installing them. So these should not be tight, they should only be done up to around 23 newton meters, I believe. So we're just going to crack it loose. Yeah, not tight at all. And the spark plug should now pull out. Yeah. So there is a look at the first spark plug. It's a bit sooty, but that looks relatively healthy. So yeah, I'm not really concerned with that, to be honest. And it is an NGK, and I can see a part number on there, and that does look like the correct one. Let me just compare it to my new spark plug. So yeah, it is already running the correct NGK spark plugs. This is what they use from factory. As you can see, the exact same. Let's get this one installed then. As you can see, that is nice and firm in there now, so we can just slowly lower it down into the spark plug well. And now I'm going to torque down to 23 newton meters, which is 18 foot-pound of torque. There we are. And now we can reinstall the ignition coil. So we'll just drop it in, push it down, make sure it's fully seated, and then reinstall the electrical connector. And that's one done. And now that you've seen me do one, let's fly through the rest and then I will check in with you when I'm done. And just like that then, all 6 spark plugs are now replaced. Now you probably will have saw that I did have to move this front brace bar here. That is because it is covering this spark plug here. I could remove the ignition cord, but I couldn't get the socket and the extension down into there to get onto the spark plug. So if you do have to temporarily move this, it's just held in by 2 E-Torx bolts. I believe that it's an E14 that takes, and then the one in the middle takes a E18 socket. And next then, I guess it's time to start putting everything back together, put the engine cover back on and then put all of the cowling back. But before I do that, I'm actually going to fire the engine up just to make sure we don't have any misfires. And as you can hear, this thing is running sweet. And as you can see, I've put everything back together, and that is us now, job done. Well, there we go then, that's the spark plugs now replaced on the BMW 130i, and I did actually check back in the service history and they were last replaced in 2016 at around 100,000 miles, which is around bang on when they should be replaced every 5 years or every 30,000 miles. Now, you know, you probably can extend them even beyond that, but for the sake of how much they cost, and you know, you want your car to be continually, you know, performing at its best, and you know, both you know, in terms of power and efficiency, you're better off just replacing them every 30,000 miles or so. I hope this video has been easy enough to follow along. I hope it's, I hope it hasn't been too all over the place. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'll see you all in that next one. Peace!